Let me tell you something, folks. Trauma bonding is more prevalent than you might think. It affects millions of relationships. You see it every day. People trapped in unhealthy patterns, unable to break free. It's heartbreaking. Trauma bonding is a serious issue. It's not just about a few fights or disagreements. It's about a deep-seated attachment to someone who is hurting you. This bond forms through cycles of abuse, manipulation, and intermittent reinforcement. Think about it like this. Someone hurts you, then showers you with affection and apologies. Then they hurt you again. This cycle repeats, creating a powerful bond that's hard to break. The victim becomes dependent on the abuser for validation and love, even though the relationship is toxic. This is not love, folks. This is a dangerous cycle that can have devastating consequences. We all crave love and connection. It's a basic human need. But sometimes we confuse love with something else entirely. Toxicity. Toxic love is a dangerous illusion. It masquerades as passion and intensity. But beneath the surface lies control, manipulation, and abuse. Trauma bonding thrives in this toxic environment. It's a psychological response to the ongoing trauma inflicted by the abuser. The victim becomes bonded to their abuser, not out of love, but out of a complex mix of fear, dependence, and a warped sense of loyalty. This bond is not healthy, it's not normal, and it can have long-lasting effects on the victim's mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Remember, love should never hurt. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, feeling afraid or belittled, it's time to take a step back and examine your relationship. Recognizing the signs of trauma bonding is crucial. It's the first step towards breaking free from this toxic cycle. Here's the deal. Pay attention to these red flags. If these sound familiar, you might be in a trauma bond. You make excuses for your partner's behavior, even when they hurt you. You isolate yourself from friends and family. You feel afraid to leave the relationship, even if you're unhappy. You have low self-esteem and doubt your own worth. You constantly crave your partner's approval, even if they're abusive. These signs indicate a deep-rooted problem. It's not about a few rough patches in your relationship. It's about a pattern of abuse that's creating a dangerous bond. Don't ignore these red flags. They're your wake-up call. It's time to take action and reclaim your life. Trauma bonding takes you on a wild emotional roller coaster ride. 1 minute, you're on top of the world, feeling loved and cherished. The next, you're plunged into the depths of despair, questioning your worth and sanity. This constant cycle of highs and lows is a hallmark of trauma bonding. The abuser knows how to push your buttons. They alternate between charm and cruelty, keeping you off balance and clinging to every shred of affection. This manipulation creates an addictive cycle where the victim craves the high of the good times, even as the bad times become increasingly abusive. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting and damaging. It erodes your sense of self and traps you in a web of confusion and self-doubt. You deserve better than this constant turmoil. You deserve a love that is stable, supportive, and healthy. Section 5. Understanding the trauma bond. How it takes hold. Trauma bonding is not a sign of weakness. It's a survival mechanism. When we're repeatedly hurt by someone we love, our brains try to make sense of the chaos. We cling to the good times, however fleeting, and rationalize the abuse. This is how the trauma bond takes hold. Our brains release hormones like oxytocin and dopamine during those brief periods of affection. These hormones create feelings of pleasure and bonding, even in the context of an abusive relationship. Over time, our brains become wired to associate these intense feelings with the abuser. This is why breaking free from a trauma bond is so difficult. It's not simply a matter of walking away. It's about rewiring our brains, breaking free from those chemical dependencies, and healing from the deep emotional wounds. Section 6. Manipulation and control. The tactics of toxic partners. Let's be clear. Trauma bonding doesn't happen by accident. It's a calculated strategy employed by abusers to maintain power and control. They use a variety of tactics to keep their victims trapped. These tactics can be subtle guilt trips, passive-aggressive comments, playing the victim, or they can be blatant threats, intimidation, Physical violence. The common thread is the abuser's need to dominate and control their partner. They isolate you from your support system, making you dependent on them. They erode your self-esteem, making you believe you don't deserve better. They gaslight you, making you question your own sanity. These tactics are designed to break you down and make you more susceptible to their manipulation. Don't fall for it. Recognize these tactics for what they are: abuse. You deserve respect, dignity, and freedom from this toxic control. Section 7. Breaking free. Your journey to healing and empowerment. Breaking free from a trauma bond is a courageous act of self-love. It's not easy, but it's absolutely essential for your well-being. Here are some steps you can take to start your journey to healing and empowerment. Acknowledge the abuse. The first step is admitting to yourself that you're in an abusive relationship. This is often the hardest part, but it's crucial for breaking free. Seek professional help. A therapist can provide you with the support and guidance you need to understand trauma bonding and develop a plan to leave the relationship safely. Rebuild your support system. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or support groups. Surround yourself with people who love and support you unconditionally. Focus on self-care. Engage in activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature. These are all powerful tools for healing. Section 8. Reclaiming your life. Finding strength and support. Leaving a toxic relationship is just the first step. Healing from trauma bonding is an ongoing journey. It takes time, patience, and a lot of self-compassion. Remember, you are not alone. There are resources available to help you every step of the way. Therapy can be incredibly beneficial. It provides a safe space to process your emotions, understand the dynamics of the abuse, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Support groups can also be invaluable. Connecting with others who have experienced trauma bonding can help you feel less alone and more understood. Sharing your story can be incredibly empowering. Remember, healing is not linear. There will be good days and bad days. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and never give up on your journey to reclaim your life. Section 9. Recognizing the pattern. Breaking the cycle. Trauma bonding can have long-lasting effects. Even after you've left the abusive relationship, you might find yourself repeating the same unhealthy patterns in other areas of your life. This is because trauma can wire our brains to seek out familiar, even if those patterns are harmful. The key is to recognize these patterns. Pay attention to your relationships. Are you drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable, controlling, or abusive? Do you find yourself making excuses for bad behavior or minimizing your own needs? Breaking these patterns takes time and effort. Therapy can be incredibly helpful in identifying and changing these ingrained behaviors. With awareness and support, you can break free from the cycle of trauma bonding and create healthy, loving relationships. Section 10. Your voice matters. Share your story, inspire others. Your story matters. By sharing your experience with trauma bonding, you can help others recognize the signs, find the courage to leave, and begin their own healing journey. You can break the silence and stigma surrounding this issue. There are many ways to share your story. You can talk to a trusted friend or family member. You can join a support group. You can even share your story anonymously online. Every voice adds to the chorus of survivors, empowering others and creating a ripple effect of healing. Remember, you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. By sharing your story, you not only help yourself, but you also inspire others to break free from toxic love and reclaim their lives.